Hey everyone, welcome back to Firsthand Globetrotting. I'm back to show you more of my trip to Costa Rica. Right now, I'm on my 5th day here. If you've been watching my other videos about this trip, you know that I've been having the time of my life. I had really high expectations before I got here because of all of the great things I've heard about Costa Rica, and this trip has completely delivered so far. The first few days of my trip have been in La Fortuna. I had a chance to explore the city, try some amazing Costa Rican food, hike to a waterfall, see some incredible animals in the Costa Rican jungles, hike to the base of an active volcano, swim in some volcanic hot springs, and so much more. If you missed any of my earlier videos about this trip, I'll put a link to them down below. But today is the day I leave La Fortuna and head out to see more of Costa Rica. I had one last chance to sit on my hotel room balcony and watch all of the little birds going wild flying around from tree to tree early in the morning. I've had a great time here and would definitely come back to La Fortuna, but I'm really excited to see some more of the country. I headed out to the street outside my hotel to catch my transportation to the next town I'll be visiting, Monteverde. If you look at a map, it's pretty close, but the quickest way to get there is actually to take a shared van, then hop on a small boat, then take another van ride. Adventuras El Largo runs the whole service. It may seem like a weird way to do it since they seem so close, but I've been told it's actually the quickest and most efficient way to get between them since there are only tiny mountain roads connecting them. After I hopped in the van for the first leg of my trip, we drove around La Fortuna to other hotels to pick people up, so I got one last view of the city streets. I'm actually pretty excited about this van option. I think it's going to be a lot nicer than trying to drive the whole way. As we got out of town, it started raining for most of the drive. This is the first real morning rain I've had since I've been here, so the timing worked out perfectly since I'll be stuck in a van anyway. The first leg of my trip took around 50 minutes total once I got in the van. Eventually, the van turned down a little dirt road and drove down towards the shoreline where a few small boats were docked at the end of a path. This was my first time seeing how beautiful Lake Arenal is, so I was really excited to get out on the water for this leg of the trip. The boat is a pretty basic passenger boat with rows of bench seating and enough room to fit everyone's bags. But I'd recommend packing light and not dressing up since there isn't a proper dock area. It's just a dirt path you carry your bags down before getting to the ramp to the boat. So don't come here expecting a luxury boat tour. But because it's not really built up, you get amazing views of the sparkling water and the hills surrounding the lake. And because this is Lake Arenal, you can probably guess that the Arenal volcano is visible out on the water. It's a little cloudy, but you can still see it rising up over the coast. Given the choice between driving the entire way between La Fortuna and Monteverde or taking a boat, this definitely seems like the more scenic option. The water was sparkling in the sun for pretty much the entire time on the boat. Really glad I got the rain over with on the drive over. And the shoreline was just hills and trees and shades of green in every direction I looked. It was such a nice view. For the entire ride, I don't remember seeing any buildings or other signs of civilization. It just seemed to be nature as far as I could see all around me. It's a really peaceful trip. You get to spend around an hour in the fresh air out on the water, enjoying the scenery as the boat cuts across the lake. I'm kind of a sucker for boat rides anyway, so the fact that I got to work one into my travel day between cities is a huge plus for me. After a while, we started moving towards the opposite coastline, and I think way off in the distance I see something along the shore. As the boat got closer to land, it was still mostly just nature everywhere, but there was definitely a boat up ahead of us. Just like where we started from, if the boat wasn't there, you'd have no clue that this is a pickup and drop-off point. No docks, no buildings, No signs of any sort, just a few boats along the coast, and then a small group of people standing near them, probably ready to get on our boat for the return trip to La Fortuna after we unload. I actually really liked it this way. It felt like more of an adventure and less of a mass transit route. When you get off the boat, the only things there are lines of vans that you get loaded onto depending on where your final destination is. Just like the dock area, there's nothing else back here except for a few vans and a few people. As we drove away from the lake, we started to make our way higher and higher into the mountains until we were up into the clouds. We aren't even that far away from La Fortuna, but it feels like we traveled completely across the country to get here. You can probably tell why this area is known for its cloud forests. We're so high up. After about an hour on the road, we pulled into a little rest stop area and had a 20-minute break to get out and stretch our legs after the mountain driving. They sell snacks inside and also have a little cafe and restaurant area in case you're hungry or thirsty after spending the morning on the roads and water. Since we were so close to Monteverde, I would have been okay skipping the stop and getting there a little sooner. The last part of the drive from the rest stop to my hotel was around 40 minutes, so we were almost there by the time we stopped. The whole trip, from hotel to hotel, ended up taking a little over 4 hours. It was a really interesting experience, and I'm really glad I got to do it. As I walked up to my hotel, the entire area gave me the feeling of a nice, sleepy mountain town, very relaxed. It doesn't have a jungle in the back like my last hotel, but there was a nice open courtyard area in the middle of this one. And it had something I definitely couldn't get in La Fortuna, an amazing patio view out over the town and the hills and pretty much everything as far as you can see. I really love how mountainous it is. There are little open-air paths that lead you to the different areas where the rooms are, and all of them have fun designs and lots of vegetation. They had a lot of these walls with multicolored glass built into them, adding a splash of color as the light would shine through. It's not just the main lobby patio that gives you great views. A lot of the rooms and hallways had their own little balconies, so no matter where you were, you could get a great view of the entire area. And in case it's a rainy Costa Rican day, they had a nice big lobby and restaurant area that you can hang out in with games and books and places to relax. After getting myself set up in my room, I headed out to explore a bit and find myself something to eat for lunch. Just like the road outside my hotel, the area I was in was really calm and slow moving and relaxed, a really nice mountain town. I've only been here for around 30 minutes or so, but I'm really liking it so far. I haven't gone to the downtown area yet, so that might be different, but it feels a lot smaller than La Fortuna and more like a Costa Rican town instead of a tourist town. Eventually, I found myself another soda to eat at. Honestly, I think I'm going to end up eating at sodas for nearly every meal I have in Costa Rica. The prices at them are really affordable, and they all serve delicious Costa Rican dishes. This one was pretty small inside. All of the cooking was done right in the middle, with just some bar seating and a few small tables for people to sit. For lunch, I got some Costa Rican-style chicken empanadas. Kind of like with the Costa Rican tamal I had the other day, I didn't notice a huge difference between these empanadas and ones that I've had in other countries, but they were still really good. After I finished eating, I decided to walk around a little bit more and find out where the downtown area is. I've been saying I'm in Monteverde, but that's not completely true. The town I'm in is actually Santa Elena, and Monteverde is the entire region that I'm in. Santa Elena is even smaller than La Fortuna and has more of a laid-back mountain backpacker feeling by comparison. It definitely felt like a really relaxed place right in the middle of nature. The entire downtown area in Santa Elena is only 3 small streets that form a triangle, with plenty of restaurants and bars and souvenir shops and little art shops scattered along them. But even in the downtown, it was still very hilly everywhere, so I definitely didn't forget that I was up in the mountains as I was wandering around. And just like La Fortuna, there was some really great public artwork everywhere I looked. Just look at this sloth waving to everyone passing by. Something else similar to La Fortuna? Another outdoor hand washing station along one of the sidewalks. One of the things that really caught my attention was a restaurant with a huge tree right in the middle of it. I mostly just walked around the downtown triangle and looked in at a few places to get my bearings, but I didn't stay long since I have some really fun plans for tonight. Tonight, I'm at a wildlife preserve and I'm going to do a nighttime tour to see if I can find any animals. Last night I got to see all of the frogs coming out at night, so I'm really excited to find out what other things are hiding in the dark. When we got to the nature park, it was already buzzing with activity as everyone got here for the night tours. My guide for the tour is Steven. He was great, and I'll put his contact info below if you're interested. As we stepped out onto the trails, the sun was already starting to set, but there was still some light coming into the jungle so we could see where we were going. We weren't walking around long before we saw our first animal. It was really moving around up there. I'm not sure if it was just getting up, or getting ready for bed, or just playing around in the trees. Every minute we were out there, it got darker and darker and darker, so everything in the jungle became harder to see as we walked around. It's a very unusual experience out here. It's so dark, and you're standing on a path in the forest with no idea what type of animals are hiding out in the shadows a few feet away. Everything out here looked a little bit creepier than it would have in the day, like these vines wrapped around where a tree used to be as they reach up to the dark sky. Look at this insect that looks like a little stick. Even looking directly at it with the flashlights, it's camouflaged so well that it's hard to notice. I thought it was tough spotting animals during the day, but it's even harder when it's pitch black out. Just look at this, a big green snake just casually relaxing up in the branches of a tree, waiting to drop down on anything that comes underneath it. You can't tell me that the idea of a snake up above you in the darkness doesn't make you a little bit worried about taking a nighttime walk here. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, I think this snake is a type of pit viper, so it's also venomous. There's no way I'm getting off the path. Just look at this. We have flashlights with us to see where we're going and the animals. I can only see the circle of light where the flashlight is aiming. It's pure darkness everywhere else. And here's another sneaky insect that looks like the stem of a flower or a tiny branch. They hide themselves so well. Monteverde is a relatively small area, and it seemed like most of the guides knew each other and worked together to try to find animals. It was really nice to see how passionate and excited they were when they found something, telling the other guides where to look. If the big snakes up in the trees weren't enough for you, there are also little tiny snakes hiding out along the paths, watching the tourists go by. All of this time, I thought the paths were the safe areas, and all of the animals were off hanging out in the jungle, but there was a nice big spider that reminded me that even the paths can have things to watch out for. I've been seeing a lot of snakes and spiders and insects in the darkness, but I really wasn't expecting to see birds out at night. This one had feathers that looked like they were glowing blue on its head. There was even an owl perched up on a branch, probably keeping its eyes open for a meal. This wasn't as much of a surprise since I'm used to owls being nocturnal. In some areas, when you look up, the leaves make a canopy over top of you, sealing you into the jungle. Look at this viper hanging from a tree. It looks like it's ready to strike. Can you imagine walking off the paths and through the jungle without a flashlight? You'd never know what was waiting to bite your legs. And look way up near the top of this tree. It's pretty fuzzy in the darkness so far away, but that's another pit viper up there. You can see way better in this picture I took. I think the snake might be pregnant, which is why it's so high up. Some of the things I saw look so much better in pictures instead of videos, like this bat hanging upside down holding some fruit, or this frog hanging out in the wet area by a little stream. I had such a fun tour with Steven. He had us moving quickly through the darkness, using the light to search through the dense jungle for whatever we could find. The nighttime nature tour had such a different feeling than the ones I did in the daytime. It was such a great experience, and I'm so glad I did it. After all of that excitement, I just had a pretty relaxing rest of the night back at my hotel after a long travel day. This is the end of my 5th day in Costa Rica and my first night in Monteverde. I just got in this morning, but I'm really enjoying Monteverde so far. I really love the relaxed mountain town feeling it has. I have a lot more fun planned for my time here. I'm going to do a daytime nature hike, see where their famous local coffee is made, go ziplining through a cloud forest, and a lot more. I'll put links to my upcoming videos down below so you don't miss them. If you have any questions about anything I've done so far, ask me in the comments. And while you're at it, don't forget to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel. If you want to see what I'm up to now, I'm Firsthand Globetrotting on Instagram. Follow me on there. And don't forget, it's an incredible world out there, so pick up your passport and do some firsthand globetrotting of your own.